That's right. Oh, Face Wrestling. Listen to the podcast. Listen. They are Dark Side approved. Holiday approves it. Oh, Face Wrestling. I'll be listening. Will you?
Hi, I'm WCW Women's Champion Gia Scott, and you're watching O Face Wrestling.
I'm the one-eyed, thick-thighed WOAD, and you're watching O Face Wrestling.
Come and listen to O Face Wrestling Podcast with your favorite Siren the Voodoo Doll, aka Nina Monet.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by the WOAD Double D Rose. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, JT, for having me. How you been doing?
I've been doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Just the usual, knocking people out with my ass.
That's what I want to hear. Exactly. All right, so I got some interesting questions for you today here on O Face Wrestling, and let's just get to it because I really want to know some of these things. So the first thing, when I first, heard about you and I saw you on social media, like the first thing that really stood out was your eye patch. And me personally, I love pirates and all that kind of stuff, anything to do with pirates, documentaries, movies. I just think they're just so cool. So when I saw your eye patch, that just reminded me of that. And when we were, exchanging DMs, with each other, I wanted to, ask about that. So I kind of, asked if that was a gimmick or if that was like a real thing. And you told me that you really do have one eye and all. So just tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Well, a lot of people don't know. I have been wrestling my entire career with one eye. I just haven't. I didn't tell the wrestling world about it until last year. It's an injury that I've had since I was like 7 years old. I got hit by a car when I was younger, and my retina fell down, and it all went downhill from there. But throughout the years of my wrestling career, I didn't tell anyone, but it was starting to cause severe amount of pain and sensitivity and affecting the only eye that I could see out of. So in March of last year, I had it. I actually had it removed, and I replaced it with a fake glass eye. So just so that everybody can see that this is not. This is who I am. I am the one-eyed, thick-thighed, WOAD Double D Rose. Nothing. The only thing that's fake about me is this glass eye.
Wow. So is there any challenges from wrestling, with only having one eye?
Well, like I said, I've been like this since I was 7 years old. So it's kind of the norm for me.
Gotcha.
But before I had my eye removed, a lot of people didn't know that in the only eye that I could see out of, this eye, I had a really, really, really bad, severe cataract, and that was hindering me from seeing. So in December of 2018, I got this corrected. So now, I can see for the first time, clearly, for the first time ever in my life, and it's fucking amazing. And I look back on all that I've accomplished, basically wrestling blind. And now, it's a complete turnaround. It's a complete 360. And if people thought that I was dangerous back then, they better be careful now. They better watch the fuck out, because my apologies for this word, but I am
good.
Okay, cool. Because there will be a lot of ass in this interview, so I'm hoping that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
But yeah, so if people thought I was dangerous back then, they better sleep with both eyes open, pun intended.
Exactly. That's just amazing. Not just the fact that you've been wrestling with one eye, but the fact that you had issues seeing with your good eye. That's just amazing. And like you said, that's definitely going to help you step your game up a lot more, honestly. And you're going to be a lot more dangerous. And that's just wow. I couldn't imagine, because wrestling, that can be very dangerous. You can easily get hurt and injured, and being able to see and be aware of your surroundings is extremely important. So the fact that you did that, with your, with those misfortunes it's just crazy. And it's just wow, I have to give kudos to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I regret not telling the wrestling world about it sooner. And the only reason was because I didn't want any pity. I didn't want any pity. I didn't want people to say, oh, well, she can't do this, or doubt what I can do in the ring because of it. So that's why I kept it to myself. But my trainer convinced me. He told me, he said, like, this is something that's really important to you because it's you. It's a part of you. And the world needs to see it because no female has ever done it before. So you're the first of your kind. And that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly. Like I really like that you really embrace it into your character, which is why, like I said, at first I thought maybe it just was just a character, but no, that's you, and that's like a real thing. And I just love, like I said, the fact that you just embrace it and just go out there and do it. And I mean, it's just awesome. But
Thank
like,
you. It took me years. It really did. It took me
hmm
years to accept it. Like I said, I just told the wrestling world about it last year, and
hmm
it's been like on my mind my entire life. It hindered me from looking at people in their face and their eyes because I always felt that they were staring at me. It was,
mm,
it was I guess one of the biggest obstacles I ever had to face, pun intended. And I'm glad that I did, because now I know that this is where I can leave a mark. This is where I know I can make a difference. For the next kid that may have eye problems, that want to get into the wrestling, that wants to get into wrestling, I don't want their thoughts. I don't want them to ever think that they can't do this because of that.
exactly. Like, and I really like that because, like, speaking of that, like, I've been watching this wrestling promotion recently called Hood Slam. There's a guy who wrestles with one leg. If you could wrestle with
Wow.
one leg, you could, like, I would have never thought that anyone would be able to do that, and it's just
Wow.
like seeing people wrestle with, these circumstances and all that. It's just, it really, it allows you to be a role model for other people who may also have these misfortunes, because you don't want people to think that, oh, they have this, they can't do that. No, like, you and other people like you are proof that you could do this, and it really gives, these fans who potentially want to grow up and be wrestlers, it gives them, motivation, it gives them inspiration, and it's just great having people like you in the wrestling, industry.
Oh, stop now. You're going to make me blush.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Oh man, so the next question, this is the one I'm really, really, really into. How did you come up with the whole WOAD, the weapon of ass destruction, like ass weapon? Where did that come from?
Well, my entire career, I wanted to use my butt as some form of a weapon into my arsenal. And throughout my years, I've used it a little bit. I used it a bit here and there, but it never felt right, because, well, part of it was because I was ashamed that it was so big, and because, like, a lot of the fans would make, they would point it out, and that would make me feel like, insecure. But I
hmm
guess it's like embracing the whole eyepatch. I just had to embrace it. I'm a girl with a big ass, and yeah, okay, you're gonna look at this ass, but you know what else you're gonna do? You're gonna talk about how this ass gave my opponent a concussion. You're gonna talk about how this ass can withstand a hit from a steel chair and not feel it. You're gonna talk about how this ass looks nice. Yeah, this ass looks amazing when she's tuning up the band. But you're gonna be scared because you're gonna know, oh, when she tunes up the band, she's about to knock somebody the fuck out.
Have you actually, like, given someone a concussion with that?
Yes,
Really?
yes, I
Wow.
have. Not just a concussion, whiplash, busted lips, bloody noses. It's I mean, yeah, I'm the reason why thick thighs end lives. So
Well, I mean, at least it holds up to the name of, weapon of ass destruction. You really, destroyed people's faces with it. And it just makes it goes with, the whole, your arsenal and all that.
yeah, like I said, the only thing that's fake about me is my glass eye.
That's amazing. So, usually this is one of the first questions I ask, but what initially got you into wrestling?
I grew up in a very, very large family. I have 17 brothers, well, total 17 brothers and sisters. So wrestling was always a part of my life. My grandmama watched wrestling. My dad would take my brothers, living in Atlanta, Georgia, he would take them down to the WCW ring. Like, it was a huge part of my life. And My brothers would watch it. I started watching it, and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, wow, like this is something that I do every day. I could do this in front of people. And like at the age of 15, I was like, yeah, this is something that I really want to do. And then I found out that people actually got paid to do it. I was like, oh, well, this is an added bonus. And like my parents tried to steer me away from it. They tried so hard. And I guess they felt that I was always not better. Well, yeah, I guess they could say they thought that I could do better than wrestling. But I always felt that I belonged in that ring. I always felt that I could bring something no female has yet to do ever, or can't do. To this day, I feel that no female can do what I can do. I feel that I'm the best at what I do because I'm the freaking WOAD, and because no female can even come close to my ability, my strength, and not just even my strength, but my weakness as well. Because seeing this reminds me that I'm human. I guess you could say it's my kryptonite. So, but yeah, it's always been a part of my life. And my family, they told me, my parents, they say, either you go to school or you pursue this wrestling and leave the house. And I left. And to this day, I have no regrets about choosing that path.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like you bring something that a lot of other women don't bring, and you really do. Like you have the look, you have the weapon of mass destruction. You have something that really makes you stand out amongst a lot of the other competitors, and that's what kind of like really drives someone to the top, because you're standing out. Because I never realized until I really got into the independent wrestling that how many independent promotions there actually are. For the longest time, I thought MCW was like the only one anywhere near me. And then I found out they have all these promotions in DC and Virginia, PA, Delaware, New York, especially New York. New York's like crazy with the amount of promotions they have there. It's like there's so many wrestlers out there, and you would have never known. And that's like doing what you do is what it takes to really get known, because there's a lot of talented wrestlers out there, just to be honest with you. There's so many good wrestlers, but it's more than just being a good wrestler. It's having the character. It's having that it factor. It's having, what really makes you stand out. And that's how I discovered you, because I've seen so many pictures on social media of different wrestlers and all, but how many actually really stand out and make me like interested in that wrestler, because especially with the indie circuit, like it's not like it's on TV weekly or anything like that. You have to like find out about these people. Either you go to an event, a local event by you, and you see a wrestler that you like, you're like, okay, cool, or you see a picture or a clip of them online, and then you kind of start looking them up and learning more about them. And you really need to, have that character that really just draws people in. And that's, what you have that, a lot of other people don't have. And that, and you're really living by what your goal, and that's to be the best. And I think you're definitely getting there, to be honest.
Thank you. I'm trying. Oh, I'm going to get there, or go down swinging. Like, the wrestling world will know who the WOAD is. That's no doubt in my mind, 100%. Because, well, I like to think of it as what Thanos said from Infinity War. He was like, I am inevitable, and that's what I am. And some people may call it arrogance or cockiness, but I tell them, like, well, prove me wrong. Send me your best, and I'll show them that a one-eyed, half-blind girl, the female wrestler, can do it better than they ever could. So, put your mouth where my WOAD is.
Oh, yeah, but I mean that's not necessarily being arrogant. That's being confident. Like, you need confidence in this business, and that's what you have. So, I mean, people can say whatever they want to say, but you're being confident, and there's nothing wrong with it, because that's what you need to do. So, you're welcome. So, like, speaking of, like, wrestling on the independent circuit, like, unlike, like wrestling for like WWE, for example, you don't have a contract where you get guaranteed money and you wrestle a certain amount of times. As far as like working on the independent circuit, I'm sure it's different for different wrestlers, but I noticed that sometimes you may have to like go and actually get the bookings yourself. Like, how does it work? Do they, like, a lot of these companies come to you, or is it kind of like 50-50 where you kind of like reach out to them and all?
Well, it's 50-50, especially with the eye patch and all. I feel honestly that when promoters look at me, they see, you know, thick African American female wrestler with an eye patch and uses her butt as her gimmick. So I feel that kind of low key turns them off because they see it in a stereotypical kind of way. You know what I mean? But I feel that the eye patch definitely sets it apart. They're like, okay, what, she's a Black girl who uses her butt as her weapon, or just uses her butt. Like, I feel that they don't even know enough about me to basically know who I am yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel some may be turned off to it because if they don't know the I guess I could say they don't know the brutality of how dangerous my butt is. And I think they feel that I'm just all about, you know, shaking my butt, you know, or twerking or whatever. But and it's like every time I prove someone wrong, like every time after I have a match, I get fans come up to me and they say, "Wow, you are not what we expected." I'm like, "Of course I'm not, because I'm unlike anything you've ever seen before," and I can guarantee that. Like, I'm unlike whatever you thought of me. I will freaking it's not even close to what you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
So like I feel a lot of promoters are turned. I'm not going to say turned off because that's kind of negative. I'll say hesitant. I think that's bad. I think they're hesitant to give me a chance because, you know, with, you know, I'm not skinny. I got curves, and we're coming into that era, you know, to accept, you know, different types of bodies. But, you know, we're not there. We're not quite there yet. We're trying to be. The wrestling business is trying to be, but just it's not quite there yet. And also I feel like that maybe they feel that I may be a liability if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like, that's something that they don't have to worry about. That's something that, you know, I know what I'm getting into. I've been dealing with this my entire life. I know what I can do and what I can't. Like I've already, it's not even about trying to prove it to them anymore. I've already proven it. So.
Gotcha. Because I've always wondered, because like, do like a lot of wrestlers, do these promotions come to them, or because there's a wrestler that I follow on Twitter, I won't say her name, but she expressed some frustration because a lot of the promotions in her area haven't booked her like in 2 years, and she has to more so venture further out. And it's like I get it, like, you know, you do this is your passion, this is, you know, what you love doing, and you, like I said, you don't have that contract, that guaranteed, you know, booking. So it's like you kind of like have to go out there and, you know, kind of reach out to these companies, you know, because they may not always come to you. And I was just always like curious on like the struggle, especially too, like I know most independent wrestlers actually, you know, they have jobs too. So it's like kind of like fluctuating, you know, their jobs, and then, you know, the wrestling as well. So like,
Yeah, and it's not even about like the contract signing or getting signed with a big company. I know that's gonna happen. Like I said, I'm not even worried about that. It's just that gosh, and I lost my train of thought. But basically, I feel that like I grew up in the South. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So you know, wrestling in the South, it's especially with and I've been doing it for 10 years. So it has definitely evolved. It still has some catching up to do. I will admit to that. But just to not to shit on anybody, being a thick Black woman wrestling in the South, it has not been easy, not by the slightest. And I'm not trying to downplay anyone's journey or anyone's story, but it's harder. It's harder, you know what I mean, in a business where you're not looked at as the top of anything. That's how I feel. You know, and wrestling in the South has shown me, if anything, it's made me stronger. You know, the fact that my own state they're more hesitant to give me a chance than a promotion up north.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just shows me that this wrestling in South is not where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be on a greater and grander stage. And how can I be mad at that?
Exactly. Like, it's sad that some promotions like think that way. Like, the idea of like not wanting to book someone or just looking at someone differently because they're a different size or, culture or anything like that. It's sad that some people are still like that. But, at the end of the day, it's their loss because exactly, yeah. And it's their loss because if they're going to have that kind of mindset, then they're going to miss out on a lot of great wrestlers. Because
and there are some promotions they definitely missed out. Like, they missed out because not having the WOAD on your promotion, how can you even call yourself the top promotion? I mean, really? I mean, come on now. Come
exactly. That's why I feel like MCW's missing out because, they need to book you sometime this year, hopefully. But, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, also, like, I've only ever asked this question to one wrestler, and I regret not asking it to a lot of wrestlers, but it's always been curious to me. So, as a wrestler, a lot of your fans look at you as like a role model, and they really look up to you, and you could do the littlest things that any normal person could do, but it has such, a larger impact because of you being a wrestler. Like, walking up, like a fan walking up to you saying, "Hey, get in the picture," that means the world to them, like, whether you realize that or not. And like, no one's gonna come up to me and say, "Hey, Jake, let me take a picture with you. Oh my God, you made my day." Like, but you have that power because you are who you are. Like, how does it feel like having that kind of like power?
Well, it just makes me want to be better at what I do. Like, I've had mothers come up to me and tell me, "Hey, thank you for showing my daughter that it's okay to be curvy and beautiful. Like, thank you for letting her see that you don't have to be 100 pounds to be looked at as beautiful. Like, thank you for showing that her body can be the most dangerous weapon of all." Like, stuff like that makes me want to be even better and push harder than where I am now. So that's why, like, it basically, it really humbles me. It really does, because I never want to think I'm ever too big or too great to do this, or to show the fans how much I love the fact that they support me. So it really keeps me humble.
Mm-hmm.
and it really makes me want to push myself harder.
Yeah, I really like that. Like, I love, that's like a big reason why like I've gotten into the indie circuit, because it's like a whole new ball game. Like, when I went to an MCW event a few months ago, and this is like kind of the beginning of me going to all these indie events, I noticed, like, I see wrestlers walking around before the show, chatting with all the fans, taking pictures, and they're doing this for free. They're not at, like, autograph tables, getting money. They're just walking around, and it made me feel like, wow, they're so humble. And then when I started, like, engaging with a lot of, you all on Twitter and all, I see, like, how many of you are so, like, engaging with the fans and chatting with us. Like, that's one thing that really, like, turned me on with you, is, like, you were tweeting and just being so engaging with me when I posted some things about you, and I was like, wow, like, I really like wrestlers like this, because it shows you that they haven't forgotten who they are. They're really humble and respectful to the fans. And like, being a fan of like WWE versus being a fan of like independent circuit, it's a whole new world. Like, and because you can't just for example, just walk up to the Undertaker before a wrestling show and have a nice little chat with them. Like, you can't do that. But and the thing is, you all don't even have to do that either. It's not like it's mandatory or anything like that. Like, you all are engaging with your fans because you appreciate them. And like I said, just like the littlest things, like even so much as just like replying really quickly back on social media, like that just has so much of an impact to us fans. And like, we really appreciate it. Like, I see fans all the time, like, screenshot, "Oh, so-and-so liked my, post," or something like that. Just like the littlest things,
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I honestly, I really didn't even think of it like that. I just, if somebody shows me love and support, of course I'm gonna, like it, retweet it, because you're supporting me. And how much of a dick would I be if I didn't, like, if I felt I was too good to to at least not say give a thank you. You know what I mean? That's uber dick. That's a huge ass dick.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's like us fans, like we really like appreciate those small little things, you know. You don't have to be a WWE superstar, you know, to get that kind of, you know, have that kind of impact on us. Like, you are still a wrestler. You do the same exact thing that they do. You know, you have the same impacts, that they do as well, you know, and they're no different than you all. So it's just like, it's just awesome, you know, just getting these engagements and all this stuff from you all.
Oh, thank you. I honestly didn't see it like that, but I'm glad that you see it that way. But thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many conversations with friends just talking about, like, you know, just like all the stories and all the times we've, you know, had wrestlers interact with us on, you know, social media. And it's like, it's a big deal for the fans. Like I said, you didn't think of it that way, but now you know, like, it is a big deal. Just clicking that little heart button when someone tweets you or whatever, that alone is just like, that shows them that you acknowledge it. It's just the acknowledgments, like, you know, like half of it, but then like actually getting an engagement back is even bigger. Like, just, you know, like, it's like, oh, I tweeted one of my favorite wrestlers this and they saw it. Like, that is just huge. Just knowing that you saw something we wrote, like, it's like a big deal in the wrestling community, honestly.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. Thank you.
No problem at all. All right, so final question for you. So I know you're very passionate with wrestling and all, so what's your overall like top goal when it comes to your wrestling career?
To go wherever it takes me. To honestly, and it's not even to like just make it to a big promotion. I want the world to know who I am. And I want to set a standard because, like I said, the fact that I'm the first ever half-blind female wrestler, I want the next person behind me to know that, you know, they're going to have some huge ass shoes to fill. Like, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want the next, you know, half-blind kid that wants to be a wrestler to be like, hey, she did it. I can do it. I want to start a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
I want not just being half blind, but, you know, being an African American female who, you know, who loved wrestling growing up, you know, tried to wrestle in the South, but the South really didn't truly accept her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just to never give up on her dream. Like, that's what I want. And not just for Black, just for white, anybody. I want the WOAD to be an empowerment. I want it to be a movement. It's not just all about, you know, people, they say, well, what does the WOAD stand for? Does it stand for weapon of mass destruction or weapon of all destruction? It could stand for whatever you want it to stand for. But there's only one WOAD. I mean, hell, I want to be able to see shirts that say I'm a WOAD. You know, my body is a WOAD, because that's what it is. That's what it's about. It's not just being just a weapon. It's about loving yourself for who you are. Your entire body, everything about you. Just, you don't have to change. You don't have to fit the mold to be perfect. And Lord knows I do not fit the wrestling mold.
Yeah, I mean, I love hearing that, to be honest with you, because I like when I hear someone, you know, just tell me how motivated they are. And I could see, like, I feel like you're already doing it, honestly. Like, you are making a really big impact. 'Cause like I said, people were posting stuff about you and saying nothing but nice things about you in that, you know, Facebook group that I was in, or still am. And I even, you know, told a few friends about me interviewing you. A lot of people like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, you know, a lot of people really do look up to you, and, you know, and obviously in more time, you're going to get more known and, you know, just more fans, and you're really going to make that impact and accomplish your goals. Like, you don't necessarily have to sign with a big major promotion to really make that impact. Obviously, it helps get your name out there if you're on TV and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you're making a pretty good name for yourself as of right now, you know, doing what you're doing. And there's a lot of wrestlers out there who have made big names for themselves without really necessarily working for, you know, big promotions. I mean, I do consider like New Japan Pro Wrestling a big promotion, but it's in Japan. It's not in America. There's plenty of wrestlers who have made big names for themselves, kind of, you know, doing the indie circuit here, doing that, you know, like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, you know, and so on. So even AJ Styles, like, I mean, he was on Impact, obviously, but he still made a huge name for himself. So when he signed with WWE and debuted it that crowd erupted like I've never heard it erupt before. Like, you can do big things and make a name for yourself outside of WWE or, you know, AEW or whatever. Like, just at the end of the day, just keep being you and doing what you're doing, and you will accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Definitely. Like, without a doubt, I have to. It's not even the fact that, like, I want to. I mean, I love it. But it's like, now I have to. I have to, because I'm the first, and I have to let the world know that, you know, no matter what life throws at you, you cannot give up on your dream. Doesn't matter if you don't have support from your family or your friends, you have to do it for you.
Exactly. Like, all you gotta do is just take that torch, carry it, and just keep going, and people will follow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I like the way your mind thinks, like, just how you want to, like, be an inspiration to, you know, everyone, and show them, hey, you don't have to be perfect. I like that, and honestly, like, it makes me, like, want to support you even more than I did before, which was a lot. And that's just, like, because I want someone like you to get your name out there and really, you know, get that message out there, and, you know, just do all those things. Like, so that, I mean, you definitely have our back, that, you know, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, so yeah, that wraps up our interview. I have all my questions answered that I have written down for you. So I do want to thank you once again for joining us today here over at O Face Wrestling.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm more than willing to do this again. Like, let's do it again. Let's, like, because I feel that this is something. It's like, it's not even like you're here from, like, for the beginning of this. Who knows what next year will hold? Maybe I'll be signed. I would love to do a follow-up interview with you. Like, I would love to do this again.
Absolutely. You would be the first one to be on the show twice, so that would definitely be awesome. I mean, I am definitely down for that.
Awesome. Yay.
And if you ever come to MCW to DMV area, you know, we could always do maybe it in person or something like that too, like meet up.
Definitely. Yeah. I would, and plus I would love to just be a part of MCW. I mean, if they ever need a one-eyed, thick-thighed, whoa, they know who to contact.
Exactly. Hopefully they do, though. If they don't, like you said, they are missing out. So do you want to throw out your social media real quick before we?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Thank you. Yes. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook like page is the WOAD. Same as Instagram and Twitter. Just type in the WOAD. My @ for those two, for Instagram and Twitter, is at Double D Rose 01, or you could just type in the WOAD. And I will be in New York February the 29th at La Boom for Shine Wrestling. It's a doubleheader with Evolve, and since I stay in Atlanta, I train at the WWA4 Pro Wrestling facility. We have free shows every Thursday night. So if you're in Atlanta and if you want to see what the one-eyed thick-thighed WOAD is about, come on out.
All right, you all heard it from the WOAD Double D Rose. Make sure you like her on Facebook, follow her on Twitter and Instagram, and also make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Give us a like on Facebook as well.
And you can get this shirt.
And buy that shirt. Definitely buy that shirt. Yes.
It's on fully gimmicked. And I'm also on the WOAD at ProWrestlingTees.com.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you buy one of her shirts as well. And thank you all for tuning in today. And once again, you know, Double D Rose, thank you so much for joining us today. It was definitely a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you for having me, JT. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. And you all have a good night.
All righty.